There exists a secret language, carefully encoded within the sacred artworks of ancient civilizations. A language not spoken, but drawn. A visual symphony of divine patterns, celestial symbols, and energy maps hidden in plain sight. Today, we journey beyond the surface to uncover the hidden metaphysical blueprints embedded in religious artworks across cultures. Prepare to see what was always there, but never truly seen. Throughout history, sacred geometry has transcended cultural and religious boundaries. Concentric circles, interlocking triangles, and spiraling golden ratios are more than aesthetic choices, they are divine signatures. The circle, a timeless symbol of unity, infinity, and the cyclical nature of existence. The triangle, the bridge between the earthly and the divine, the Trinity, the pyramid, the vessel of ascension. The spiral, the unfolding of the cosmos, the expansion of life, and the movement of energy itself. These shapes, meticulously drawn within religious manuscripts, mandalas, cathedrals, and temples, are not merely decorations. They are maps of the universe, the soul, and the invisible forces that connect all things. Sacred geometry is the purest expression of universal truth. It whispers the same message across Hindu yantras, Christian cathedrals, Islamic mosaics, and Buddhist mandalas. Many religious artworks subtly encode planetary alignments and celestial movements. Medieval alchemical diagrams often depict concentric circles representing the spheres of the known planets, perfectly arranged around a radiant central source, often the divine, the sun, or the unknowable one. Each planet corresponds not just to an object in the sky, but to inner states of being, archetypal forces, and spiritual stages. When we see these planetary diagrams interwoven with zodiac symbols, we are being shown a cosmic blueprint, the sacred interplay between the heavens and the human soul. These alignments, these geometric dances, remind us that what happens above is mirrored within. Hidden among the layers of sacred art are sigils, ancient symbols, crafted with intention, to act as conduits of energy. These sigils, when placed within complex geometric grids, form living diagrams, visual spells designed to channel, amplify, or balance spiritual forces. The energy is depicted through glowing pathways, radiant spokes, and interconnected lines that flow symmetrically, binding every element together. This is not random. This is not aesthetic. It is a deliberate construction of energy flow diagrams, encoded in plain sight. In some mystical diagrams, the energy spirals outward like a blooming lotus. In others, it circles endlessly, emphasizing the perpetual motion of divine life. What may seem decorative is, in fact, a metaphysical engine. Across the world, different religions have drawn the same sacred patterns. The flower of life, for example, appears in the Temple of Osiris in Egypt, in medieval Christian art, and in ancient synagogues. The tree of life is both the Kabbalistic map of the divine and a universal symbol of interconnectedness in Norse, Hindu, and Mayan traditions. Mandala structures emerge in Tibetan Buddhism, Islamic architecture, and Gothic rose windows, all emphasizing symmetry, radial balance, and spiritual ascent. Even the chakras, depicted as glowing wheels along the human spine, mirror the planetary spheres and divine pathways found in ancient Western esoteric diagrams. These are not coincidences. They point to an underlying universal geometry, a spiritual DNA connecting all paths. Religious artworks were not created solely to inspire. They were designed to activate. To contemplate a sacred diagram is to enter a meditative state, to resonate with the frequencies encoded within its geometry. These blueprints are like keys, each unlocking layers of perception, each guiding the viewer toward inner alignment. The glowing pathways, the radiant sigils, the symmetrical spirals, they invite us to follow the energy, to trace the sacred flow, and perhaps, to remember. Remember what? That we are not separate from the divine design. We are part of the diagram. The sacred artwork is not outside of us. It is a reflection of our own spiritual architecture. So the next time you encounter a religious painting, a mandala, a stained glass window, or an ancient diagram, pause. Look deeper. Beneath the surface, beyond the symbols, hidden within the symmetry, is a blueprint. A sacred map. A message. A message that was waiting for you to see it. Because within the lines, the circles, and the radiant pathways, you just might find yourself. Now, let's deepen this exploration. Imagine standing before a medieval cathedral's rose window at sunrise. The light pierces colored glass, casting fractal petals of color onto the floor. As the sun rises higher, the light pulses, revealing concentric layers of circles, triangles, and flower-of-life patterns. The cathedral's builders understood something profound: light passing through geometry becomes living energy. This interplay of form and illumination acts as a living mandala, guiding worshippers into contemplative states, where inner worlds align with cosmic patterns. In a sacred yantra from South Asia, one sees triangles nested within circles, inscribed with Sanskrit mantras. Each triangle, each petal, is oriented precisely, not arbitrarily. These alignments correspond to planetary hours, directions of cosmic forces, and vibrational frequencies when the mantra is chanted. Temples that house these yantras often position the shrines so that sunlight or moonlight traverses key paths at specific dates, like equinoxes or solstices, activating the geometry. Again, form and light meet, awakening the viewer on levels beyond the visual. If we turn to Tibetan mandalas, their creators begin by grinding powdered pigments, turquoise, cinnabar, lapis, and applying them with minute precision. Every dot, line, spiral is guided by centuries of tradition. Monks chanting in unison build the resonance that vibrates through the pigments and geometry, enveloping both maker and viewer in a sacred synergy. Then, after days or months, they collapse the mandala. The ephemeral dissolution becomes part of the teaching: non-attachment, impermanence, reintegration. The geometry served as a mirror, and the destruction returns the pattern to formlessness. The hidden blueprint revealed, then released. Western occult traditions adapted these principles. Alchemist Robert Flood created hermetic diagrams of nested spheres and planetary seals. Each part of the diagram corresponded to a bodily organ, a metal, a cosmic force. In the 17th century, images of treemen, anatomical diagrams overlaid with planetary bodies, showed how macrocosm, the heavens, maps to microcosm, the body. These artworks weren't scientific illustration. They were meditations in ink. To study them was to practice the art of as above, so below. In Islamic geometry, the prohibition of figural depiction spurred stunning complexity in abstract patterns. These tile mosaics and wooden screens are precise metaphysical diagrams. The infinite tessellations become analogues for divine infinity. Their symmetry is aesthetic, yes, but also intentional. Each reflection, repetition, and rotation represents an axis of cosmic order. Through the act of repetition, both in the craft and in contemplation, the observer is aligned with unity, guided inward. Even the simple Christian chalice symbol carries encoded geometry. Within its silhouette lie circles, arcs, sometimes nested wheels, representations of the Eucharist's cosmic significance. When painted on manuscripts or carved into stone, the chalice becomes a vessel for contemplation, a bridge between the material and the mystical. What drives all of this is the notion that geometry is sacred code. Like musical notation, these diagrams don't just describe, they generate resonance. They are maps, spells, hymns, and entrainment devices all at once. When we draw certain shapes in certain proportions, we create vibrational relationships. When light refracts through these shapes, or sound resonates against them, we enter alternate perceptual states. In contemporary times, sacred artists like Alex Gray and Android Jones embed these same principles in psychedelic visionary art. Their luminous mandalas, anatomical chakras, and cosmic grids draw direct lineage from these ancient blueprints. These modern works act as catalysts, bridging ancient spiritual science and modern consciousness, weaving geometry with technology. This speaks to a continuity. From medieval cathedrals to deep vision digital canvas, the language is geometry, the grammar is proportion, and the message is the same. What can we do with this knowledge, as an audience? We can learn to see beneath the surface. Practice mindful looking. Try tracing the pathways with your gaze. Notice where your attention flows. Does your breathing deepen? Does time seem to stretch? This is no placebo. This is resonance between mind, symbol, and cosmos. The geometry acts as an antenna, tuning your perception to subtle wavelengths of meaning. You might try drawing your own sacred diagram. Start with a circle. Add a triangle. Inscribe a spiral. Let intuition guide placement of symbols that feel meaningful to you, maybe planetary signs, maybe personal inflections. Color the lines with intention. Chant a mantra or tune to it. Observe how the act of coupling geometry with breath or sound shifts your inner state. If you're creating a video, you can animate these diagrams, show circles growing, lines connecting, sigils glowing into place. Let the viewer be gently led on a visual pilgrimage through the geometry. Add a subtle ambient hum tuned to the golden ratio. Use slow zooms inward. Match voice and visual rhythm. In this way, your video becomes not just an explanation, but a transmission. You're not just conveying theory. You're offering an experience, the remembrance of a deeper visual language that has always been within us. Approach with curiosity. Without reverence or dogma. See geometry as both science and poetry. As both math and medicine. Because the hidden language of religious artworks is not just hidden. It is alive. It lives in light refracting through stained glass. It lives in the measured angles of a temple roof. It lives in the flicker of candlelight on a mandala. It lives in you. And when you learn to see with these eyes, you begin to hold your own inner geometry. You become not just a viewer, but a vessel. A participant in the cosmic design. An active node in the unfolding diagram of creation.